101.7 Lagos and watch the action unfold on Facebook and YouTube at Nigeria Info FM. I Beg to Differ. Supported by Obiwizi, Diamonds and Paris Travels Limited, and Chrisland Schools. Prize money sponsor, Tollywood College. For sponsorship, email info@nigeriainfo.fm. I Beg to Differ. The Tournament of Champions.
Welcome to the second quarter final debate. We're streaming live on YouTube, Facebook, and the conversation is on X. And we are voting on all of these platforms. The voting portal will be open as the debate progresses, so look out for that one. Also, drop your comments. We'll be able to take some of your comments before it ends. Yeah. Lagos, we're also live on Kids FM. It's 101.7. Let your younger kids follow the debates there, and let all the family also follow there. If we'll see what the kids are listening to and try to prepare them for their time, which will come.
Yes, and who knows, your kid might just be a champion one day.
All right, for this second debate, let's meet the two brilliant contesting minds. Maryann?
All right, let's start with Akinsulie Oyindamola.
My name is Akinsulie Oyindamola. I'm a student of Tollywood College. I'm 14 years old and I'm in year 11. I debate because I want to prove to myself and other people that I am worthy of showing my true talents and skills. One topic I would love to debate is, should students bring phones to school?
Good day. Shouldn't they? Lagos, welcome Akinsulie Oyindamola of Tollywood College, 14 years of age. He's in SS2 or year 11. Welcome, Oyindamola.
Thank you.
I see you're smiling. You're ready for this. Her opponent, let's meet her.
All right, let's meet Ochuwa Ichue.
My name is Ochuwa Ichue. I'm 14 years old and a student of Okon College. I decided to join the I Beg to Differ tournament after my principal came to address us, a few of us, and told us the benefits and the importance of doing it. And I felt interested and willing to put myself out there.
She is out there, to be sure. Welcome, Ochuwa Osehi Ichue of Okon College. You heard her. She's 14. She's in SS2. Welcome, Ochuwa. Welcome. Are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
No doubt. No doubt. Two brilliant minds, same age, both 14, both in SS2 or year 11, and both of them young, brilliant ladies. Ochuwa is from Okon College. Oyindamola is from Tollywood College. So let's determine, you already you've picked sides. Who is supporting the motion today?
I'm supporting.
You are supporting the motion?
Yes.
Meaning Oyindamola is opposing the motion. The motion is this: federal government's planned National Youth Conference is necessary for national development. Federal government's planned National Youth Conference is necessary for national development. Ochuwa Ichue of Okon College will be supporting that motion, while Akinsulie Oyindamola of Tollywood College is opposing the motion, saying it is not necessary. The youth conference planned by the federal government, the National Youth Conference, is not necessary for national development. Both of them will tell us why they so argue. Maryann.
All right, we're going to start with the motion supporter. You both have 4 minutes. Are you ready? Your 4 minutes starts now.
A nation that does not listen to it is a nation that silences its future. Good evening, moderators, wonderful judges, my co-debater, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. My name is Ochuwa, Ichue, student of King's College. I'm back here this evening to throw my entire weight behind the motion that the federal government's planned National Youth Conference is necessary for national development. For far too long, the youth of this country have been sidelined, underestimated, and even at one time branded as lazy. What an injustice. Yet despite these unfair stereotypes and treatment, the youth have been waiting patiently and resolutely for the time that their voices would not only be heard, but will command respect. And now the time has come. The National Youth Conference will take place as the federal government of Nigeria has decided to make it happen. For this reason, I would like to say a big thank you to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu for declaring this on the 1st of October 2024. To start with, the National Youth Conference is necessary for national development because it amplifies youth voices in policy making. A nation cannot progress if majority of its population is not involved in decision making. With over 60% of Nigerians under 30, excluding them from policy decisions is counterproductive. Countries like Finland, which engage their youth in policy making, rank higher in global development indices. Also, the National Youth Conference can help address youth agitations and protests. In recent time, Nigeria has experienced a couple of youth protests, such as NSAS in 2020 and Ember Governance in 2024. These are clear indicators of dissatisfaction and frustration. The NSAS 2020 protest saw participation from over 28 million Nigerians online and thousands on the streets. Ignoring this may give birth to further unrest and instability, where structured dialogue can lead to more sustainable solutions. Furthermore, I believe that the National Youth Conference will be a game changer in tackling Nigeria's brain drain epidemic. Every year, thousands of young people migrate to the UK, the US, Canada, and even some unimaginable countries, all in search for greener pastures. But what if a National Youth Conference can give them the opportunity to innovate, start businesses, lead, addressing the key factors driving brain drain? You would agree with me that most young people would like to stay to develop Nigeria instead of leaving. Also, the National Youth Conference can help harness youth creativity for development. Nigeria's drive youth innovation, contributing to $4.5 billion tech startup ecosystem, the largest in Africa. Encouraging discussions on entrepreneurship and technology can lead to more economic growth. Also, the National Youth Conference is a tool for empowering youth for nation building. Countries like Rwanda, which engage their youth in governance, have higher civic participation and low crime rates. Furthermore, the National Youth Conference can help design a future with youth as its key architect. By 2050, Nigeria's population is projected to be 400 million, with the median age being 18. Policies made today should involve leaders of tomorrow, and I believe that the National Youth Conference will help kickstart such policies. To foster unity and collaboration for national development, a National Youth Conference is necessary. Nigeria has over 250 ethnic groups. A national platform where youths can collaborate can help strengthen unity and prevent regional divides from escalating into conflict. Another one is focusing on critical issues. Unemployment rate is over 40%, making job creation a priority. Direct engagement ensures policies that focus on real needs rather than assumptions. Making youth aspiration a priority is a sure way of achieving national development. Nigeria needs the National Youth Conference more than ever. A country's future depends on how they engage their youth. The conference offers space for discussion, innovation, and teamwork, helping to turn complaints into solutions, protests into policies, and youthful energy into progress. Supporting young people means securing a country's future. No nation can afford to ignore its greatest assets, its youth. Thank you.
Lovely.
Ochuwa Ichue of King's College for her presentation round. She's 14 SS2 student. Well done, Ochuwa. Time now to switch to her opponent, Akinsulie Oyindamola of Tollywood College.
All right, Akinsulie, are you ready? All right, your 4 minutes start now.
The late fella Anikulapo Kuti was super correct in his lyrics in 1997. It was indeed sorrow, tears, and blood on October 20th, 2020. NSARS protest and youth mobilization in 2020. Dear opponents, you may say it was not a formal conference, but the NSARS protest was a significant movement led by the Nigerian youths, seeking reforms and better governance, similar to the agenda of the National Youth Conference. But the Nigerian army and police opened fire on peaceful and armed protesters gathered at the toll gate in Lagos, Nigeria. The aftermath saw a crackdown on youth organizers and discussions about the need for a more structured conference to address the issues raised. However, subsequent efforts faced bureaucratic hurdles and perceptions of insincerity of the government, leading to skepticism for meaningful dialogue. Today, there has been no justice or accountability for victims and survivors of the massacre. Even the formally organized National Conference on Youth Job Creation in 2021 was focused on brainstorming solutions for youth unemployment in Nigeria. Similar to the failure of the post-NSARS conference, it equally suffered poor execution with minimal participation from relevant sectors and a lack of follow-up actions to address address the issues discussed. Many youths felt that their voices were not adequately represented and that the conference did not yield impactful results. Good evening, respected judges, my imposing debater, and my beautiful and ever-attentive audience out there. My name is Akinsulie Oyindamola from Tollywood College Year 11, and these are my arguments. Wasting funds. Hosting a large-scale national youth conference requires substantial funding. These funds could be better utilized in educational programs, health initiatives, and direct youth employment schemes. Given the pressing economic challenges many nations are facing, spending taxpayers' money on a conference might be seen as irresponsible. Opportunity cost. Resources dedicated to organizing and executing a national conference could potentially yield greater returns if directed towards tangible programs addressing unemployment, youth education, and health services for youths. Already existing structure. Many nations already have existing frameworks and organizations that are focused on youth engagements, such as youth councils, NGOs, and other platforms for youth participation. A new national conference could duplicate these efforts without adding any substantial value. Local engagement. Much of the national discourse could be better held at local levels, where youth issues are more pressing and relevant. Empowering local and communities and organizations can provide more direct and impactful venues for engagement. Tokenism. Many national youth conferences often lead to rhetoric without action. Past initiatives had only yielded few tangible outcomes, creating skepticism about the government's commitment to addressing youth issues afterward. Disconnection from reality. Politicians and policymakers may use these conferences to appear more engaged with youth concerns without implementing any real changes, creating a cycle of disillusionment and frustration among young people. Representation issues. Often these conferences may fail to inclusively represent the diverse voices and experiences of young people across the nation. Voices from marginalized communities might be overlooked, thus limiting the true representation of youth concerns and interests. Access limits. Logistics and costs associated with attending such events may limit participation only to a certain segment of the youth, namely those from privileged backgrounds, which could skew the discussions and outcomes. I make bold to argue that the federal government's planned National Youth Conference is superfluous and could be a diversion of resources better spent on more pressing issues and never geared towards national development. Furthermore, Singapore is classified as a high-income economy with a strong GDP per capita, one of the world's leading economic hubs, recognized highly for its exports-oriented economy. In Singapore, there is no centralized National Youth Conference, but they have various grassroots movements and organizations that help young people, empower young people rather. Initiatives like the Young Entrepreneur Scheme can help young people launch businesses and engage in societal issues. Additionally, Germany has been described as a great power with a strong economy. It has the largest economy in Europe by nominal GDP. May I have you know that Germany does not engage in national youth conferences, but she is very active in local decision-making processes, community services, and environmental activism. Various associations and youth organizations can foster national development without the need for a national conference. And bringing my thoughts to a halt, youth engagement can happen outside of national conferences, often through education, grassroots movements, local organizations, and governmental supports of youth initiatives. Many young people in the two aforementioned countries and many more contribute positively to the society in various fields, showcasing their capability and potential as change makers. The best of them are Nigerian youths, but too bad their voices can never be heard through national youth conferences because of the interplay of corruption and political undertone. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
You've heard the presentation rounds. We just had Akinsulie Oyindamola of Tollywood College. She's 14. She's an SS2. Before her, you had Ochuwa Ichue of King's Anchor College. Same age, same class. This is a fairly matched quarterfinal matchup. We will take a break. When we come back, it will be time for round 2, the rebuttal rounds. Stick around.
Obiwizi is Nigeria's pioneer e-commerce platform for pre-owned gadgets. They are Nigeria's home of gadgets with warranties, where you can purchase all your favorite devices and quality accessories, both brand new and pre-owned. You can also trade in your older devices for a newer model in a simple and convenient way. With offline and pickup stores in Ikeja, Lekki, Abuja, and Benin, Obiwizi delivers nationwide. On Instagram at Obiwizi Backup Page, on X at Obiwizi. The email address info@obiwizi.com, or go to the website at www.obiwizi.com.
Welcome back, Lagos. Brilliant second quarterfinal debate matchup.
Yes.
Between two brilliant girls, Ochuwa and Oyindamola of King's Anchor College and Tollywood College, respectively.
Yes, and it's time for them to go into their rebuttals. Femi, can I do the honors?
Yes, please go ahead, Maryann.
Yeah, very important to note that you must make sure you rebut all of your opponent's points. It's very, very important. And if you do make additional points and do not rebut all of your opponent's points, those points will not count. So are we ready, ladies?
Yes.
Okay. So we're going to do a switch and start with the motion opposer, and that will be you, Oyindamola. You have 4 minutes, and your 4 minutes starts now.
All protocols duly noted that Akinsulie Oyindamola back still opposing the motion. I listened very carefully to all my opponent's points, and I'm ready to refute them and prove why my stance is superior. My opponent mentioned that youth conferences can amplify youth voices in policy making. She also mentioned addressing youth agitation. These are overstatements of epic proportions. In the 2018 United Nations Youth Assembly that was aimed at bringing youth voices to global discussions, many attendees reported feeling that their inputs were not solicited effectively, nor were their recommendations incorporated into policy discussions. In the same vein, Y20 summits aimed at addressing youth issues in G20 countries had critiques point to insufficient channels for youth to provide their feedback on the outcomes. This resulted in limited influence on international policy. I need you to know that without strong feedback systems, several detrimental outcomes such as disengagement, loss of trust, and repetition of mistakes can occur. My opponent mentioned tackling Nigeria's brain drain, designing a future with youth architects, and focusing on critical issues. This is deeply flawed. And throughout history, many conferences have emerged during periods of significant social unrest, where the concerns of young people have been largely ignored. This clearly displays the insincerity of the government and makes those national youth conferences reactive rather than proactive. This was the case in the last NSARS protest in 2020, as the proposal for national youth conferences coincided with 2 protests within 2 months. Also in 1968, students' protests in France displayed how youth dissatisfaction could inspire widespread social movements that countered the official state narrative, aiming directly at reforms rather than celebrating the existing national image. Conferences can be seen as government propaganda. They fail to resonate with the actual sentiments of young people. For example, conferences that are narrowly focused on promoting government agendas rather than addressing youth concerns can be perceived as superficial and very detrimental to national image. My opponent mentioned engagement and focusing on critical issues. I beg to differ with these statements. Many national youth conferences have been criticized for being platforms that merely serve the interests of political entities rather than fostering authentic civic engagements. In Nigeria, youth events have been utilized by politicians to showcase their commitment to youth issues without implementing any substantive follow-up. Historical examinations reveal that the policies and promises made, initiatives and promises made at these conferences did not translate into actionable policies. Youths left feeling inspired. Youths left with aspirations, but little tangible change, resulting in disillusionment. My opponent also mentioned harnessing youth's creativity for development. This is downright misleading. Many national youth conferences often prioritize discussion speeches and networking opportunities rather than structured workshops or hands-on training. This can result in a robust exchange of ideas without translating into practical skill building. For example, discussions of policy reforms do not provide these participants with the skills related to leadership, conflict resolution, or project management. Youth leadership conferences in 1980s, 1990s, and 2000s often emphasize motivational talks and networking opportunities rather than concrete skill development. Critiques emerged that youth left feeling inspired but unprepared for real-world challenges. My opponent also mentioned empowering youth. This is a pure fallacy. When the needs and experiences of these youth are sidelined, these conferences cannot claim to engage in genuine empowerment, as they fail to address the specific challenges faced by these young people and resultingly amputate national development. Commercialization of national youth conferences can divert attention from critical issues at hand and further entrench existing power structures rather than empower youth to affect change. Many national youth conferences held during times of political unrest could serve to placate youth demographics and redirect their energy away from real activism, stifling genuine empowerment. My opponent also mentioned fostering unity and collaboration. This is absolutely ridiculous. In the late 20th century and early 21st century, many national youth conferences began to emerge as platforms for education and advocacy. These platforms did not focus on networking objectives, but on ideological education and awareness. Many of these platforms focused on panel discussions and presentations, which could limit the interactive opportunities for these individuals to engage with one another. This format may prioritize information dissemination over networking individuals, which can make it harder for these individuals to connect with one another. In addition, I would like my opponent to know that historical narratives sometimes reflect the underrepresentation of health professionals in national youth conferences. For example, decisions and agendas might be driven by policymakers lacking expertise in health promotion. During the Cold War era, youth gatherings were often centered on promoting national loyalty or ideological conformity rather than individual health and well-being. I also want my opponent to know that many national youth Thank you.
All right. And so the rebuttal round ends for Akinsulie Oyindamola of Tollywood College. Well done. Over now to Ochuwa Ichue of King's Anchor College for her rebuttal round.
Ochuwa, are you ready? Your 4 minutes starts now.
My opponent claims that conferences waste funds. But do you know how much the government lost during NSAS? The people are still recovering from it, including the Lagos state government. And my opponents claim that dialogue did not lead to action.
For example, the 2012 National Youth Policy Summit led to key policies affecting digital innovation and employment. This proves that dialogue works and it will continue to work till time comes. My opponents claim that most conferences may fail. Do we stop elections because previous governments fail? Do we stop going to schools because we failed an exam? No. Dialogue needs to continue until results. My opponents claim that there are other ways youth can be engaged. If the other ways youth can engage are successful, where is there still unemployment? Where is there insecurity? Where are there lack of jobs everywhere? My opponents claim that corruption will affect youth voices from being heard. Yes, corruption exists, but is that a reason for stopping innovative ideas that promote national progress? If we allow corruption to stop those ideas, they will stop ministries, some universities, and elections. My opponents claim that they serve the interest of political activities. This government doesn't want the National Youth Conference to serve political activities. If he wanted that, it would have gathered political youth. But no, this is a National Youth Conference for youths who want a change in this country. My opponents claim that many youth conference prioritize speech. It's not just about speech, it's about implementing what is done there. There are reports, there are things that they are kept there so that it will be implemented later. My opponents claim that the NSAS protest happened because of lack of dialogue. If there was dialogue, the protest would have not been happened. Do we want another Lekki Tollgate incident? No, that's why dialogue is compulsory. Then my opponents claim that there are other ways. My opponents claim that representation of youth may not be done properly. There will be youth will not just be gathered from the streets. Youth will not just be gathered from the streets. There will be people who have experiences or have done great things in their universities, in their colleges, and in their different programs. My opponents claim that the conference doesn't promote unity. If dialogue does not promote unity, what will promote unity? Is it conflict? Is it fighting? Countries like South Africa, which had ethnic diversities, youth conference led to a change. Rejecting the youth conference is like saying you don't want treatment because of fake doctors. Yes, system is flawed. Yes, corruption exists, but that's not the reason to be silenced. Thank you.
Thank you.
Great. So the rebuttal round is over. Well done, Ochuwa, Osehi, Ichue of King's and College. Before her, you had heard Akinsulie, Oyindamola of Tollywood College. We'll take another break. When we come back, it'll be time for the final rounds. Stay with us, Lagos.
Tollywood College is a modern co-educational day school poised to provide a perfect learning environment for students between the ages of 10 and 16. We are dedicated to innovation and excellence in teaching and learning, an experience like no other at Tollywood College, where potentials are unlocked and given premium value. For inquiries, kindly contact us at the email address info@tollywoodcollege.com or go to the website at www.tollywoodcollege.com. You could also go to the physical address to see things for yourself at kilometer 43 Lekki Egbe Expressway by Canaan Land Estate, Shongotedo, Aja, Lagos. Rest assured, we will be waiting.
Yes, it's still the quarterfinals, and we still have Ochuwa up against Akinsulie Oyindamola. We've done the opening rounds and, of course, the rebuttals. Now we're ready for the closing round.
A brilliant debaters, both quite young, both 14, both in their penultimate class in high school, SS2 or year 11.
Yes.
It's time now for them to put this argument to bed.
Yes, of course. And we're reverting to status quo. So the motion supporter begins this round.
Let's remind Lagos what the motion is.
Yes.
Pardon me. How did I go back to NYS? It's still youth, national youth, but let's look at it again. Federal government's planned National Youth Conference, NYC, without the S. Federal government's planned National Youth Conference is necessary for national development. Ochuwa is supporting the motion. Oyindamola is opposing it. And now they get to close their argument.
All right, and this round you all have 3 minutes each. Make the best of it. Ochuwa, are you ready?
Remember to vote. If you haven't voted now, go to Facebook, go to YouTube, search for Nigeria Info and vote for either Ochuwa, who is supporting the motion, or Oyindamola, who is opposing it. The vote is also there on our X platform, where you can also find the YouTube video embedded. All right, motion supporter, it's now time for your closing argument. Are you sure you don't want your headphone? You're good. Okay.
All right. Your 3 minutes starts now.
In 2005, young Rwandans came together in a national youth conference with a view to rebuilding his country after the 1994 genocide. Eric, a 22-year-old attendee, shared his dreams of teaching his peers business skills. Inspired by the conference, Eric helped 10,000 young people start successful businesses and promote peace. This story shows that young people can drive real change and help fast-track the development of a country. Imagine what such a conference could do for any country. Distinguished judges, esteemed audience, and my worthy opponents, permit me to ask, if young people were engaged in a formal meeting with shared interests, would answers have escalated? If there was open dialogue, would minors have stood in court in 1st of August 2024? If young people were given opportunities, would Nigeria keep losing its best minds to foreign countries? Dialogue is the foundation of peace, progress, and development. Any country who ignores their youth will face unrest, while countries who invest in them secure their future. Rwanda, after its genocide, focused on youth engagement, and today it's one of Africa's fastest growing economies. Yet in Nigeria, youths are ignored, excluded, and arrested. If this continues, Nigeria will face more protests, more brain drain, and more insecurity. The National Youth Conference is not just about giving speeches, neither is it a tea party. It's about shaping policies. It's about ensuring that the students in our schools, the young workers in our streets, and the future leaders of tomorrow have a say in how their country is run. According to Nelson Mandela, the youth are not just the leaders of tomorrow, they are the leaders of today. If great minds like Nelson Mandela can recognize this, why do we see silent youth? Permit me to ask again. Do we want a Nigeria where youth are empowered to be the nation? Or do we want one where they are ignored and left to tear it down? Do we want to keep silencing young voices until frustration turns into rebellion? Or do we want a platform where dialogue leads to solutions? Remember, if you close the door on youth, they'll find another way to be heard, either to protest or rebellion. Nigeria needs the National Youth Conference, not just for the youth, but for the survival and meaningful development of the nation itself. Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right.
Case rested for her. 14-year-old Ochuwa Osehi Ichue of King's Anchor College, SS2 student. Well done, Ochuwa. You've given it your best shot. Over now to your opponent, Akinsulie Oyindamola of Tollywood College, for her closing.
Are you ready?
Yes.
Your 3 minutes starts now.
Ladies and gentlemen, I stand firmly opposing the motion that the National Youth Conference is essential for nation's development. While I acknowledge the importance of engaging youths in the developmental process, I make bold to argue that hosting a large-scale National Youth Conference is neither necessary nor an effective mechanism for achieving anything near national development. Hosting a large-scale national event requires substantial financial resources, often diverting public funds away from more urgent developmental needs such as education, healthcare, and infrastructure. Investing in direct programs and initiatives that engage youths in their communities can yield more tangible and immediate benefits than a conference that may be limited in its reach and impact. A national youth conference, while seemingly inclusive, often fails to authentically represent the diverse voices and experiences of young people across the nation. The realities of socioeconomic disparities mean that not every youth will have the opportunity to attend or participate in such events. This can lead to a narrow view of youth issues that overlooks the issues of marginalized or less vocal groups, ultimately undermining the objective of inclusivity in national development efforts. History has shown that many conferences yield minimal actionable results. The dialogue, the discussions and resolutions often remain theoretical and rarely translate into anything or into concrete policies or initiatives. Without a robust follow-through mechanism, conferences may merely serve as an exercise in rhetoric rather than a catalyst for actual change. Instead, fostering ongoing dialogue through local initiatives can prove far more effective in driving national development. Youth engagement can be fostered through various means that do not require a large conference. We can better utilize technology to create virtual platforms that will facilitate dialogue or collaboration among young people. Initiatives like the community-based programs, local forums, and workshops can promote sustained discussions and actions that address the real needs of youth without the need for a centralized gathering. Supporting local youth-led initiatives allow for more tailored responses to specific challenges that contribute to national development from the ground up. in conclusion, while we recognize that youth engagement is crucial for national development, in conclusion, while we recognize that youth engagement is crucial for national development, national youth conferences do not adequately address the real complexities of achieving meaningful youth involvement or contributing to national development. Instead of placing our resources into organizing a potentially ineffective conference, we can focus on inclusive community-driven initiatives that will empower our youths and foster national progress. I implore you, dear opponents, to heed my voice of instruction as I ask you these few questions before I allow you to call it a day. Does the federal government need a conference of young people to find solutions to the insecurity ravaging the country? How will such a conference stem the inefficiency in the power sector that has become a perpetual disincentive to investment? And indeed, how will a conference of 30 days impact on the more than 20 million out-of-school children, many of whom have become a serious security threat to the entire nation? Do we need a conference to address the growing poverty among a large segment of the population? How will delegates be selected without creating its own problem in a nation with mutual ethno-religious suspicions? Besides, what assurances are there that the things agreed upon at such conferences, assuming one was held, would be carried out by the federal government? Sleep well, dear opponents, and wake up to these realities. Thank you.
Okay.
And so it finally ends this glorious debate. Federal government's planned national youth conference is necessary for national development. We just had Akinsulie Oyindamola of Tollywood College oppose that motion, and before her opponent, Ochuwa Osehi Ichue of King's Anchor College, had thrown her weight of support behind the motion. They've done their part. It's now time for the judges to do theirs. Also, you, the listeners at home, we implore you, if you haven't voted yet, go to Nigeria Info on Facebook and vote. Go to Nigeria Info on YouTube and vote. Go to Nigeria Info at Nigeria Info FM on X or Twitter, and please vote for either of these two brilliant students. As a reminder, you just saw the earlier debate between Esther and her opponent, Anthony, and how it ended. You are reminded that each of these semi-finalists, each of these quarter-finalists who qualifies for the semi-final also qualifies automatically for the national tournament of champions. That is what it means. That's what their qualification today and tomorrow signifies, that whether they win this regional finals or not, they've already booked their place into the national tournament of champions in July/August. So, in a bit, we'll find out how the judges are deciding. Let's take one final break. Special thanks to our sponsors. We'll be right back after this.
Diamonds and Pearls Travels is a multi-award winning company whose aim is to demystify travel, make it affordable and accessible by providing seamless travel service like flights, hotels, tours, transfers, packages, visa assistance, cruises, and so much more. And this Easter, Diamonds and Pearls Travels have 2 destinations for families where they are guaranteed to have maximum fun because they have selected 2 destinations that will wow you and your kids. And they call it Easterlicious in Qatar from the 16th to 23rd of April, and also Easterlicious in Egypt from the 15th to 21st of April. These La Familia packages are for only families with children. So daddies and mommies, for inquiries or booking, call Diamonds and Pearls Travels on 0902 521 5421. Again, 0902 521 5421, or you can call 0813 741 2306, 0813 741 2306. So what are you waiting for? Be part of this beautiful experience. Diamonds and Pearls Travel Limited are proud sponsors of I Beg to Differ Secondary School Debate Tournament in Lagos, Abuja, and Port Harcourt.
Welcome back. Welcome back. Time for decisions. Just before the decisions are made, would listen to our diction coach and instructor, Yvonne Ohaite.
Thank you, Femi. Well done, ladies. Well done, Oyindamola. Well done, Ochuwa. Ay, ay, ay. So I'll start with you, Oyindamola. Girl, don't worry. It's the look on your face for me. It's nothing serious. And I'm just going to point this out because I think it's important, okay? So critique and critic are two different words. When you critique something, you analyze it by way of criticizing it, okay? And so the person who does that is a critic. All right, that's just one major difference I thought to point out to you. And to you, Ochuwa, well done. I will start by saying that when using the subjunctive mood, you speak in the past, okay? So when you said, if there was dialogue, the protest wouldn't, you referring to, that, it should have been if there were, or if there had been dialogue, all right? You also say, injustice, not injustice. The stress is on just, okay? Injustice. You say resolute, not resolute. Resolutely, okay? Develop, not develop, all right? You say develop. And it is entrepreneurship, not neo. No, okay? Entrepreneurship. You also say, you said if great minds like Nelson Mandela can recognize this. Nelson Mandela, bless his heart, is no longer here. Bless his soul. If great minds like Nelson Mandela could, okay, not can. I believe that's all I have here. Femi, it's over to you and Maryann.
Thank you very much. A quick look at some of your messages on I'm on YouTube. Interesting one. Class Without Wall says the girls are very good, but Oyinda is my pick. Anytime go girl. PC Sheriki says well done, Ochuwa. Rachel Olasumbo says this is a great debate of the day. Alex Chiwell says go girl. Oyinda keeps spitting fire at every point in time. Class Without Walls comes back to say this is indeed a high-end matchup, but I have confidence in Oyinda. Is this if Bade Ichue says Ochuwa, go girl? Okpayemilawa goes, go on, Oyinda. Here's an interesting comment from Alex G. World, who says, I hope the NYSC executives are taking notes. As a nation, we need to be updated and evolve with time. Monica Akinsulie says, go Yindi, great job, baby girl. Success goes, go Yinda, make me proud. Samuel Sam does lots of applause and fire. Sadanjuma says Oyindamola is the best. Goldmine says, Ochuwa, you see that person you greeted during your introduction, you're not supposed to greet him if you really want to win. All the best to you both. It's like, who did she greet? Her opponent.
Obviously.
Not to have greeted her opponent. All right. Alexia said, Ochuwa, you have tried your best. Okay, I'm not sure. Let's move on. Sadan Juma, Ochuwa is good. Oyindamola is the best in this debate. It is clear. And more of those comments coming in. Thank you very much for everything. Peter Ayonride says, allow me. Hold on. It's Class Without Walls telling Peter Ayonride, allow me to school you a bit here. Calling Tollywood. Oh, that's in reference to a comment where he called the school. Yeah. Okay. Anyway. Come on, guys. Enough already.
Okay, so we have the results for the polling. I'm going to take it in no particular order. So, first we have X. 15% voted for Ochuwa. 85% voted for Akinsulie. On YouTube, 77% voted for Akinsulie and 22% voted for Ochuwa. And then, of course, on Facebook, 28% voted for Ochuwa and 72% voted for Akinsulie.
All right. Now time to see how the judges have scored this debate. Here is the decision. In the opening round, George Yvonne has it as 10-8. George Ufoma has it as 10 to 8.5. And Chief Judge Chike agrees, 10 to 8.5. Advantage Oyindamola, unanimous in that. Rebuttal round. George Yvonne gives it as 10-8. Judge Ufoma gives it as 10-7, and Chief Judge Chike gives it as 10 to 7.5. The judges are unanimous in giving the second round to Oyindamola. Third round, Judge Yvonne gives it as 10-8 to Oyindamola, while Judges Ufoma and Chief Judge Chike gave the closing round as a tie, both of them. For diction scoring, George Yvonne scores it 10-7 for Oyindamola, bringing this second quarterfinal to a close and declaring the winner by near unanimity amongst the judges, 100 to 82.5 for your winner and second semi-final qualifier, Lagos. Say congratulations to Akinsulie Oyindamola of Tollywood College. Well done, Oyindamola. You have done well. Congratulations to you.
Congratulations.
How do you feel?
I feel relieved again.
Yeah. Well done.
Thank you.
Well done. So into the semi-finals you go, and that also gives you an automatic spot into the National Tournament of Champions. Ochuwa, my dear Ochuwa, my friend, you've blessed the studio and my eyes with your smile every time you stepped in. Don't lose that smile.
Yes.
Don't lose that smile. Well done. You have done well.
You did well.
You've beaten everybody up until this point. You know, it's the nature of competition. You win some, you lose some. And while it will be great to win them all, life is like that, right? You don't feel too disappointed with your performance, do you?
It's just my rebuttal.
Yeah, your rebuttals.
You could have done better?
Yeah, it happens. But you did great. You did great. You held your own, and you did a fantastic comeback in your closing. It was, if you've already noticed, that two of the judges had it at a tie. So you did brilliantly well. Take the lessons to heart. You know the best part of it? You're in SS2. So we look forward to seeing you, and you are one of the best debaters we've seen. If opportunities open somewhere, you know, you will be a consideration, no doubt, for a wild card if anything happens going into the national final. If that doesn't happen, we'll see you in season 9. Well done.
Well done.
Well done.
Well done, love.
Lagos, it is done. Congratulations once again to Oyindamola. You have your topic. You will be opposing the motion, I will presume, in your next debate. Could you confirm that you're opposing the motion?
Yes.
You don't seem too happy about it. Well, it is what it is.
Well, all the best. Bring your A game. Experience has taught us that it's not so much about the side you pick. It's the work you put into it. Thank you, Lagos. On behalf of all our sponsors and all these brilliant students, we thank you. Thanks to Babatunde Abdul Salam, to the guys, to Ken, to Olamide, to Onyeka, and to Genevieve. All of the amazing crew who have worked tirelessly with producer Sheriff Quadri to make sure this comes your way.
We appreciate you all, and we love you for watching. Tomorrow is another day.
Most especially, the number one person to thank is you, the audience.
Yes, of course.
See you tomorrow.
Free Nigeria Info. We'll be right back.
Aisha, why do you have so many teas and sachets of cowbell?
Oh, it's what I planted.
99.3 Nigeria Info. We are more than just radio. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at Nigeria Info FM. Check us out on Facebook at Nigeria Info 99.3. Follow us on Twitter at Nigeria Info FM and on Instagram at Nigeria Info FM Lagos for live updates as it happens. 99.3 Nigeria Info.